It walks, runs, crawls, just like us. But this isn't a human. So, who is this? This is Atlas, Boston Dynamics' brand new humanoid robot that's really been starting to creep us out. In this video, we're going to talk about how Atlas is probably the most dangerous robot ever built. Quick background. What's Atlas? Now, this project has been evolving for over a decade. Boston Dynamics' humanoid robot goes back in time when it started as nothing more than just a hydraulic giant built to test its dynamic movements. In 2013, this humanoid was designed to face dangerous disasters, like handling tasks in nuclear fields or oil plants, where sending humans would be risky and even life-threatening. At that time, it was a 6 feet 2 inches tall hydraulic robot that weighed 330 pounds. The early Atlas model was as slow as a turtle. DARPA's program manager, Gil Pratt, even joked that watching it move was like watching a toddler take its first step. The new Atlas. Why it feels too human. Compared to what it truly was, Atlas has now become a full-time gymnast thanks to rapid developments in agility and other AI-driven control systems, which Boston calls the large behavior models that give the robot full control over its body following scripts. So now, it's capable of running, twisting, turning, walking just like any of us. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. The question is whether we're really advancing humanity or turning technology into our biggest threat yet. And that's where things get uncomfortable because Atlas is beginning to feel human, or maybe a little too human. It starts with motion fluency, in contrast to other robots with choppy movements. Atlas moves smoothly. There's no pause for Atlas. This robot performs like humans and feels the ground under its feet, which makes its presence eerily lifelike. Then, there's the 360-degree rotation and flexibility. From its waist to the hips, shoulders, and neck, Atlas moves in a motion that humans haven't yet mastered. When it moves, it almost feels too real, and you barely notice that it's a robot. Boston Dynamics engineers have designed this robot with a maximum range of motion so that its balance and reach are amplified. The outcomes? They look both superhuman and disturbing. The tech analysts at The Verge and Motor Trend compare Atlas's posture to athletes, while some claim that there's an actual person in a bodysuit. The most impressive, or should I say terrifying feature, is autonomous correction. While in testing, Atlas is mid-task, and something changes, such as a lid shutting or a box shifting. It recalculates in real time while adjusting its body position and smoothly continues without stopping. This isn't a pre-programmed choreography, but real-time spatial awareness supported by AI and advanced sensors. So, with everything combined, Atlas's responses are actually scary. It can adjust, react, and adapt just like a human among others, understanding what's happening. For the first time, we're watching a robot that has unlocked human movement and intelligence. If you're as amazed and creeped out as we are, make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button so you won't miss out on any deep dives. The danger factor. And now, it's time to seriously think about the risks that come with this robot. First, we all know Atlas is a giant box of heavy metal, motors, and algorithms. If anything goes wrong, even the smallest glitch, it can turn dangerous real quick. Even in rescue or industrial surroundings, a single malfunction could become a disaster. Another thing that makes Atlas far more dangerous is its autonomy and unpredictability. This robot constantly gains more decision-making capabilities through its onboard AI. In return, it starts operating in ways that are completely unpredictable. Under unfamiliar conditions, no one can say for sure how Atlas will react. A sensor glitch or sudden environmental shift can trigger unexpected decisions or movements, and Boston Dynamics repeatedly advises against weaponizing the robot since it can lead to extremely risky outcomes. The possibility of misuse is impossible to ignore. A highly mobile and strong humanoid robot could easily become dangerous once set for evil use. Imagine what happens if its remote stops working or Atlas simply misunderstands a command? These factors can leave psychological impacts because, let's be honest, a robot that looks and moves alive enough can creep people out and leave people with fear in their hearts. Over time, the overuse of Atlas could also lead to hardware fatigue, hacking risks, and thus unforeseen consequences. All of these factors make technology threatening while it's supposed to be revolutionary. Even though the world is advancing towards innovative products, there's a fine line between progress and peril. And Atlas is the perfect representation of what could happen if you mess with robots in the coming years. What does Boston Dynamics claim about Atlas? Of course, Boston Dynamics and its creators aren't blind to the controversy. In fact, they've stated that Atlas isn't a threat but a tool. Their famous catchphrase, "dull, dirty, and dangerous," sums it up. In other words, this means that robots should be given the jobs that humans shouldn't do. These include inspecting, working in collapsed buildings, handling toxic chemicals, and industry materials. You might have noticed that Boston Dynamics has partnered with the Toyota Research Institute, and they echo one message in almost every press release: control, safety, and oversight. Where does Atlas currently stand? So, the creators know what they're doing, and they just want to show that safety comes first. Every company makes sure its products go through several tests before entering the market. Similarly, Atlas is tested with every single movement thousands of times before it even enters the real world. Boston Dynamics is clearly doing everything it can to avoid the worst-case scenario. With the company reminding everyone that it's not a toy or commercial gadget, Atlas remains highly under control. But the biggest leap, they claim, comes from large behavior models, or, simply put, LBMS, a new AI system that lets Atlas learn new skills through demonstration instead of coding. Their idea is simple: teach the robot like you teach a human. Watch them once, then perform safely. Theoretically speaking, this could actually reduce trial and error risks, but a few critics argue that we only see lab-polished scenarios, and real-time ones don't come with smooth floors, perfect lighting, or even well-behaved humans. And while Boston Dynamics claims that it's just a research platform, its growing partnerships tell other stories. So what can the new Atlas do? And why is everyone freaking out about it? Well, that's because in April 2025, Boston Dynamics dropped a video of Atlas working in an industrial site, handling tasks like sorting, packing, and even interacting with other humans. It picks up parts, opens boxes, identifies tools, and grabs them all without pausing. If a bin gets nudged or moved, it continues its performance in seconds. But wait till you see this. This jaw-dropping moment happened when it fell and stood back up. This movement wasn't stiff or choppy, but a fluid, graceful motion, just like someone getting up from a short nap. While this part went viral, some called it beautiful, and others called it possessed. And honestly, both are true. Atlas achieves this uncanny realism through powerful vision and perception models that allow it to constantly adapt to its surroundings. Even when objects move or obstacles appear, Atlas can easily update its internal map of the world while correcting it in real time. This makes the robot highly predictive, as it knows where its limbs should move next. The latest Atlas is a fully electric and more agile version compared to its hydraulic predecessor, with greater flexibility and a wider range of motion. This robot now lifts heavy parts, maneuvers around cluttered surroundings, and stays stable in chaos. Ethical, security, and social concerns. The danger of Atlas is ethical, social, and security related too. If we really think about it, who really controls what these robots see, record, or transmit? Atlas is full of high-quality cameras, microphones, and sensors that perceive its surroundings. While this tech makes Atlas extremely capable, it also raises questions related to ethics. Like if security is in the wrong hands, or if data gets leaked or isn't tightly controlled. And then another huge risk, the hacking risk. Atlas could be compromised like any other networked device. Imagine an attacker who takes control remotely and turns this helpful robot into a puppet or even a weapon. This thought sends chills down your spine, especially considering it's a heavy and agile robot we're talking about here. And through technical advancements, the job market is highly changing. Humanoid robots aren't just replacing repetitive factory tasks anymore. As this robot becomes more capable, it could move into logistics, service work, and even rescue operations that could completely replace the human workforce. So, the social implications are extremely huge. Who gets to work? Who gets replaced? And how do we ensure that humans remain in control? If Atlas injures anyone or crashes equipment, the question of responsibility is unclear. Is it the operator, the programmers, or the company that built it? Or could we one day hold the machine itself responsible? There are currently no global laws against regulating humanoid robots. Regulations are lagging far behind innovation, which means we haven't fully defined the future. While every improvement in Atlas's capabilities brings us to enormous potential, ethical and security challenges also rise. We're only beginning to scratch the surface of what this truly means for the world, the psychological impact. And here's something many people overlook: the psychological impact. Robots that look and move exactly like humans trigger the uncanny valley effect. This effect refers to a mix of awe and unease. People may treat it like a human, but deep down, they know it's not a human. This creates a dangerous kind of trust. For instance, if workers or rescue personnel try to rely on Atlas in a dangerous situation, but it misreads the environment or makes an abrupt decision that humans didn't see coming, the consequences could be destructive. Many famous psychologists, like Kate Darling at MIT Media Lab, warn that repeated exposure to highly human-like robots can blur the line between machine and human in our perception. Over time, it could also lead to unusual social behavior, empathy, and decision-making. So, Atlas's lifelike presence challenges how humans think, react, and interact, making it as much a psychological experiment as it is an engineering one. Final verdict. So, Atlas isn't just a robot anymore. It's notorious for being a glimpse into a future with machines moving and reacting just like us. This might actually be the turning point and reshape society, making the world look more like the vision we all imagined for 2050. And Boston Dynamics may call it a tool or helper for dull, dirty, and dangerous tasks. But it forces us to ask bigger questions of control and real-world chaos. And are we really prepared for the psychological, ethical, and social challenges of robots that feel too real? Let's see how things go for Boston Dynamics in the future. As Atlas continues to evolve and upgrade, one thing is certain: it's going to be thrilling and a little disturbing for every human that exists alongside robots. And what's more, these robots may be able to reproduce without any human help because currently, manufacturing facilities are creating robots with the intelligence to build other robots. So, what do you think the future's going to look like in a few years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone.